look at the storybook career of singer, songwriter, and actor Kris Kristofferson and find out how this former Rhodes Scholar and construction worker got to where he is today.
For Kris Kristofferson, life reads like a storybook.
My heroes, like Willie Nelson, and Waylon Jennings and Johnny Cash, are my friends.
Tonight on Evening, Kris Kristofferson reflects on his career as a singer, songwriter, and actor.
I love music.
Our first story tonight about singer-songwriter Kris Kristofferson. This guy is a Golden Gloves boxer, a helicopter pilot, a Rhodes Scholar.
Good-looking man.
Not a bad-looking man. We're going to catch up with him now in Atlantic City and check out his storybook life.
Now, Kris is a prime example of somebody that you could not create. You cannot sit there with a keyboard or a pen and create the life story of Kris. This piece here is from 1985. It looks at his career, his life, and his movies. Pretty candid. So it goes into his marriage with Rita Coolidge while they divorced. But the piece ends on a happy note with a new wife and new kids. So what more can you ask for? Let's check it out.
Kris's life reads like a Hemingway novel. Rhodes Scholar, Army captain, fiction writer, firefighter, Golden Gloves boxer, construction worker, and finally, in 1965, he made his way to Nashville, bound and determined to make it as a songwriter.
And next thing you know, I was making a real good living doing what I love to do. And with my heroes, like Willie Nelson, and Waylon Jennings and Johnny Cash are my friends. Now, Muhammad Ali, calls me up. Now, this is together with the fact that I got a family that I love more than life itself, is as good as it gets.
This is a new, calmer Kris Kristofferson. Gone are his days of hard living and heavy drinking. In fact, the drinking stopped 8 years ago. The turning point was the release and success of his film with Barbra Streisand, A Star Is Born.
All of a sudden, I was recognized everywhere. It was like, well, on one level, it was just bizarre. It'd be like if you were to walk around, suddenly one day you see great pictures of 50 feet high of you and Barbra Streisand kissing all over the world, This is a weird experience, unless you're a lot more blasé about things than I am.
Appearing together today in her latest rock video, Kris credits Barbra with launching his film career. Hollywood gained a new matinee idol, and before long, he starred opposite Jill Clayburgh, Ally McGraw, Jane Fonda, and most recently, Marlo Thomas and Leslie Ann Warren.
Imagine not working with all those people, getting to do love scenes with them. I mean, Lord, if I died right today, I'd be ahead of the game.
One film, however, offset his momentum. Not professionally, personally. It happened early on when Kris and actress Sarah Miles posed for Playboy to promote their film, The Sailor Who Fell from Grace with the Sea.
That was probably the single stupidest thing I've done in my life, And it caused a lot of people a lot of discomfort.
The pictures put his marriage to singer Rita Coolidge on the rocks. Their second and last joint album, Natural Act, was released in 1978, and they were divorced in 1979. Today, after several quiet years, Kris is back in circulation, co-starring with Willie Nelson in, as Kris calls it, a real hit movie with a heart. Songwriter.
It's just a real culty little film, but it's but people when you get warm bodies in a dark room, they like it.
While the songwriter of the film is Willie, the writer of most of the songs was Kris. And whereas in the past that was something born out of misery, today it's his greatest pleasure.
It's probably the closest thing to a religious experience that the everyday human being can have. always have the feeling that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing when I've done and written something good, you know, when I know it's good.
Loving her was easier than anything I'll ever do again.
And these days, you can find him on the road, singing the good ones, both old and new, which, along with his band of 10 years, a new marriage, and a new baby, is exactly where he wants to be.
By the way, Chris's wife, Lisa's expecting their second baby in a couple of weeks. And why does Kris wear black all the time? He says it's easier than having to decide what to wear every morning.
Since Kris and Johnny Cash were like this, I decided to add a funny story that Kris tells about Johnny Cash, just for context.
The job I got was, I was a janitor in the recording studio where John recorded. I almost got fired one time because a couple of songwriters crashed the session, and they were trying to pitch him a gospel album, and for some reason the woman who was the secretary to the producer blamed me for letting him in there, and tried to get me fired. And so the next night my boss came down and said, I don't think you should go to John's session tonight. And which was heartbreaking for me, because I lived for those recording sessions. But I understood, and I hid down in the vault of the recording studio and was erasing tapes down there, doing some kind of busy work, and John appeared down there in the basement. He said, I understand you're not coming to the session. I said, no, I got a lot of work to do down here. I can't. He said, well, I just wanted to tell you I'm not going to record until you come up there. So I had to go up and sit on the floor. And here I was the janitor, right? And I'm sitting on the floor, and this woman who tried to get me fired was watching me the whole session. It was the most uncomfortable I've ever been in my life. But I thought it was the measure of the man. He's always stood up for the underdog.
Thank you.
And that's something I've tried to live up to. He's been a good example. I found Blade on the streets when he was when he was a kid, and first took him for a vampire and almost killed him, and then come to realize what he was, which was this very special person who's got all the strength that the vampires have, but isn't susceptible to all the things like daylight. Wesley looks like he could hunt bears with a switch, you know, whether he had any weapons or not. And Nabusha is beautiful, you know. It was fun to be around.
Well, Kris will live to be 88. He died just last year from time of filming this. A lot of younger people know him from the Blade movies, which he appeared in the first 3 of them. It's a pretty good backstory he has. Anyways, hope you learned a little something about Kris. If you didn't learn anything, hope you're at least entertained by what he had to say. And who knows, I might have more Kris stuff in my archives. You never know.